And we are live. What's up? What's up? Thank you guys for joining me on a lovely Saturday. And I have two special guests. I have my lovely wife and my lovely daughter, who just so happened to be very hungry before this stream. So we are going to be feeding her. And my wife has already read the chapter, and I have not. So she wanted to ask me questions, and also she wanted to see my reaction for this chapter. So I'd imagine it's good. So.
You hear Daddy talking.
Yeah.
Looking around.
That's because she's usually with me.
She's like, "What are you doing here, Mom?"
Yeah, she's like, I've never seen you here. You don't do these chapter reactions. So, if you're new here, please make sure to like, follow, subscribe, and down in the corner, right over here, where my emblem is, you can see the chapter is kind of, has my logo over the chapter, so I don't get copyright striked. But you can follow along there. So, without further ado, let's jump into it. So we start out One Piece chapter 1178, A Fading Nightmare. And we have a cover request by Nana Koanita. Kid runs from a bull charging at his jacket. Okay. I mean, his jacket's red. That makes sense. A bull would be charging at it. It also is interesting because some of Kid's moves are modeled after a bull. So maybe this is where he got the inspiration. Oda's just showing us.
To that every time. The first time.
Well,
I'm like, I didn't notice this.
Well, like, usually it's like there are some cover stories that are actually really important. Like the last cover story was Yamato's pilgrimage. Mm-hmm. And that's where we found out that there was a hero that died in Wano, and his name was Kozuki Moria. And everyone was worried, like, whoa, does that mean Gecko Moria is a Kozuki? And then in an SBS, Oda said that he wanted to put the fact that Gecko Moria was found in Kuri. He washed ashore of Wano, and because he was so strong and so, like, big, they, like, basically gave him the honorary title of Kozuki. That's the reason why Moria went and fought Kaido in Wano. And that's when, like, we see the flashback of that in Wano is when Gecko Moria and him clashed. But when Gecko Moria and him clashed, Kaido killed all of his crew, and that's why he went to the Floridian Triangle and went to all zombies being his crew, because he lost all of them. So it's like he basically said he wanted to put it in Wano, but he never got the chance to.
You're telling me to pay closer attention to all of the...
Yes. Basically. That's basically what I'm telling you. Usually we have, like, really good cover stories. These are just reader requests.
Gotcha.
But the cover stories are important. There's, like, a huge one with Anel that is very important, and there's a few other ones. That's why, like, people who didn't pay attention to the cover stories, and because the anime never showed it, people didn't know that CP9 survived. And in the cover story, we see how CP9 made it back to the government and became part of the government again after they got beat by the Straw Hats. This is something you can usually skip over. These are Oda's notes. They're usually just ridiculous. It's him talking about food, culture.
He's talking about a piece of gum.
Yeah, right here. Like, Sanma-san came to the live action screen and gave me a piece of gum. I wanted to chew it for the rest of my life. Like, unnecessary stuff that Oda just throws in there. All right. So we start back kind of where we left off, and all of a sudden we see what looks to be Luffy. I don't even know. Is that Luffy? And all of a sudden we see Nami, Frankie. I love this. Sanji stepping on Killingham's body, and Jinbei holding Killingham's head. And he says, "Hey," and then Jinbei says, "Luffy." And we see in the corner, it says, Luffy and Loki confront Gunko. And Nami says, huh? Brook, Usopp. And Luffy brings them over and drops them by. It says, I'll leave them to you. And Jinbei said, what's going on over there? And Frankie's like, need backup? And Luffy says, I'll count on you if things get bad. For now, I'd take a few steps back if I were you. Yo, I love this. This is so good because, like, for the longest time, one of the community's biggest problems, right, is Luffy is never serious in Gear 5. That's like that, and like people.
That doesn't bother me, but
It doesn't bother me, but it bothers the community. There are people, because people like when Luffy gets serious. Like when Luffy got serious against Crocodile and was like, no bullshit, I'm gonna put you down type stuff, like, and that type of serious fight. And like even when he fought Kaido and unlocked Conqueror's coding, they were having a serious fight. But then once Gear 5 happened, even though Kaido's a serious threat,
yeah,
Luffy wasn't taking it.
And he was
serious.
like at his strongest. But like that's part of Gear 5.
Exactly.
And Luffy is just silly.
He is.
That's like who he is.
Yes, but people want so bad for
like,
Gear 5 to have a serious mode. Like, and it's like,
I don't feel that way.
I don't either. I think that there's
he's the strongest and he's most free when he's in that form.
That's what I feel like.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, I think that there's a possibility for like a serious version of him, but like I feel like it would be different. I feel like it would be different. He would need to have like
he can be serious in the other gears. This one I think is like it's a pinnacle of Gear 5 is that it's silly.
Yeah. But people, it's the shonen archetype. You know, like Goku, Naruto, Ichigo, like when they get serious, the fight's really like heated. But that's like I think the reason why
I think it's even funnier when he's like trying to beat this like a Kaido and is being kind of ridiculous. It's almost insulting to the person he's fighting, which is almost
I think
enjoyable.
So too. I like the way the anime depicts him because to us we see him goofy and dumb, but then like sometimes like when like Luffy like speed blitzed Rob Lucci in the anime, he looked like he was on demon time, but he was smiling. Like he had like red eyes and was like kind of crazy.
There still is like this intense feature to it.
Yeah, I agree. I wholeheartedly agree. So then Luffy says Loki's a real wild card, and Sanji said, "Look who's talking," which is great. I love that. I love Loki so much. I can't wait.
Now, remind me, has everyone on the crew seen Luffy in this form?
Yes.
Okay. I think of
No. Chopper and Jinbei saw him on Egghead. Nami and a lot of the other people saw him in Wano.
Yeah.
And if they didn't see him in Wano, they definitely saw him in Egghead.
Yeah.
So, like, yeah, I think they've all seen him.
Just double check.
Actually, hold on. Has Brook ever seen Luffy in Gear 5? He was guarding the ship on Egghead. Didn't see him. Because him and Zoro... I mean, I'd imagine Brook saw him, because he didn't see him on the computer monitor, but I'd imagine he would have had to at this point.
Okay, just a question.
Then we see Loki charging up... I think it's like Thorheim is the move that he uses. And Loki says, "'Twas but a few years ago when a giant's ship was glimpsed at sea. Helmed by a captain of truly immense stature, that craft was never identified, for it skulked deep within the fog-shrouded regions." Oh, is this Emu talking? It seems like Emu's talking. Because he kind of talks like old-timey. And then he says, "Yet it only ever targeted world government vessels." Okay, yes. So this is when Loki went out to sea. Because after he killed Harold, he took the guards and went out to sea. And that's when Shanks apparently beat him and brought him back and chained him.
Okay.
So, it looks like fucking Emu is putting shit together, and he just blasts him. And Luffy's just running on air like a G. And he said, "Hey, leave some for me."
Bless you.
And then looks like Emu's still talking. It says, during that self-same period, a number of credible rumors started to emerge concerning the sighting of an unimaginably large flying beast. The truth is plain to see now. And Loki said, she got away. Where did she get to? Damn, she's too small. Interesting. And Loki says, there you are. You'll pay for what you did to Usopp and Brook. And then all of a sudden, oh, shit. Luffy just looks and his eyeballs pop out. He's like, huh? And it looks like darkness is just coming out of Gunko's body. And it says, something came out. And Emu says, if only thou were erased from the world as Rocks was before thee. Rocks mentioned. Yo, that's going to piss Loki off. Loki really looked up the rocks.
She has spit up on her boob, but I think I got it all.
Okay. You want to be part of this? Yeah. That right up there. That's where we're reading. Emu is so crazy. And then all of a sudden it looks like there's two like pentagram things, and he's like sending his like fucking little tentacle things on his body, and they hit the pentagrams, and it says Acurum Demonic Covenant. And it says, thou shalt cast aside a portion of thy lifespan and receive unprecedented strength. And it just like goes into Luffy and Loki. And Luffy's like, wah! And it hits Loki too. And he's like, huh? And Emu says, in exchange for this blessing, thou shalt loathe each other. Dami Reversi. And all of a sudden it's like they just like stare at each other. And they like kick the little tentacle thing away. And he's like, what's the big idea? This thing doesn't even hurt. And Emu's like, ... taking lessons from Dragon. And Loki's like, what a pain. What did you just say? Rocks? And Emu says, as expected, those two are truly... And then Luffy says, gum gum. And Loki says, she's too puny to fight like this.
This was one of my questions. Was about when he's saying these two are truly...
What? Oh, watch out.
I know.
I think if I was a betting man, this is my thought process. These two are truly the reincarnations of Nika and the God of War.
Yeah, like he's saying, okay, they're real shit. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, basically. That's what it seems like to me. Like, as expected, these two are truly, I would have been like gods or something like that. Because, again, like, Luffy's the sun god. We know that for a fact. And
like, up there where Emu... That's, like, go up a little bit. That's Emu in the... No, right there. In the center, trying to get both of them?
Yes.
And they just kind of batted it away, right?
Yeah, because right here is when Emu, like, stabs both of them.
Yeah.
And then...
And they basically were like, what's the big deal? And he's like, did you just say rocks? Like, it didn't even faze them, is what I was getting from that, right?
Yeah, that's what it seems like. And maybe that's because... So, one thing a lot of people are you know, and maybe this is going to dispel that. Some people think that if you have a devil fruit, you can't be Domi reversed.
Oh, I don't know.
Because there's already a devil inside of you, so you can't reverse that devil.
Maybe.
So,
That would leave a lot of people out of that.
Exactly. And, like, this lends to a different theory that they're just different, like, because they might be gods, you know,
Yes.
So...
Okay, that's what I got from that. I just wanted to see what that's like you got from that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I also...
You're spitting up again.
I love Ragnar. Ragnar's so cool to me. Mm-hmm. Like, this is, like,
the
little fucking squirrel.
Chipmunk.
Yeah. The squirrel that's a fucking hammer. Yeah. But this is what I'm interested in. Him saying she's too puny to fight like this. And then the Ragnar being like, squeak, squeak. I'm wondering if that means he can change his size. So...
The squirrel.
No.
Oh.
If Loki can change his size.
His own size?
Yes.
Oh, she's saying he's too puny to fight like this in our form.
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know.
So if he goes maybe hybrid form, maybe he'll be able to see her easier. Or imagine if he's just able to change his, like actual size. Imagine he's able to turn into human size, like regular human size.
I don't know about that, maybe.
I mean, so... Hold on. Let me see here. I want to say... It was this one. So when this chapter came out, it had... I'm pretty sure... Yes, here it is.
She decided to spit up big time.
Okay.
Let me go get something for that. You keep streaming.
Okay. Well, hold on. So here's where he's talking about the difference in size when it comes to, like, the dragon becoming so much bigger if someone who's bigger eats it. But when this first page came out, people were looking at the different sizes of the dragons and the people and saying, like, oh, the Needhog can literally change its size.
Yeah.
So this was like fuel for everyone to be like, oh my god, Loki can change his size. So it wouldn't surprise me if that was actually an ability of the Needhog, which would bring up Loki for next Nakama. Imagine a regular human-sized Loki and then he just gets big as shit.
You're like running a campaign for that. You should make t-shirts.
I should. But anyway, back to the chap. Okay. So then Luffy just uses armament on his hand and just starts... We see Emu, like, kind of lock in all of a sudden randomly. And Luffy hits him with the booming dong Gatling and just starts chipping away at Emu and just blowing holes in them. And then you see Loki turns back into his human form, or his giant form, and he's like, Ragnar, and you see squeak squeak, and Loki's like, move it, Luffy. And Luffy's like, whoa, hold up. And he just swings on Emu something crazy and hits him with Niflheim, which is like the ice move, and just encases Emu in ice. And you see Gunko's body and Emu are stuck in the ice. But you see a crack form. And it says, Luffy says, wow, is that your finishing move? And it says, but I wasn't done kicking yet. And then he just poofs back to old man Luffy. And then Loki says, I have no idea what you are, but doing it this way is much quicker. Besides, I was way too big for way too long. And then he starts panicking. Okay, so it looks like him and Luffy both, like, reached the limit of their devil fruit power. Which is cool. It's cool that they have limits.
And Emu just got out of there?
No, it looks like they're just encased in ice.
Oh, gotcha.
Hi. Interesting. I wonder obviously that's not going to hold Emu.
Yeah.
Okay, and then we go to Elbaf Fishing Village, and we see focus on putting out the fires. And then someone says, that Loki prick may have taken down the monsters for us, but cleaning up after him is its own calamity. Well, that's why Nami yelled at him. And then we see the hunting village, and giants are like, so we were wrong about Loki killing King Harold. And then another giant says, we may have misjudged him there, but look at this mess. He's still a pain in the ass maverick. And then we see Nami being great, and she has Zeus pouring water down on all of the village. And he's like, I'll do my best. And then we see Jinbei being a goat and using all of the water that's coming down. And he says, Sea Cloud, shoulder throw. And then Lilith says, even the ODCs have limits, you know. So it looks like they've put out as much fire as they could. And then we get to the West Village. And we hear, whoa, did we do it? And that was Broggy. And then Hardin says, if they all flip back to white, then yeah. And then Stanson says, but if some start to regenerate, then it wasn't enough. And Dory says, forgive us, chiefs. It was like some kind of malicious darkness swallowed us whole. And they said, don't fret over it. We couldn't resist it either. And it looks like some of them are cracking still. And they're like, damn you, captains. How dare you? And they're like, there's still 2 or 3 left. And then all of a sudden, it looks like someone's running over. And Zoro's like, all right, I got this. And Chopper just starts slapping them in the back of the head. And someone says, Chopper? And slapping the demons out. And they're flipping back. And they're like, huh? And Chopper's like, Zoro! And Zoro's like, what the hell did you just do? And he's like, no idea. Seems like I can undo their demonification just by hitting them. And Zoro says, huh, maybe it's because you're an amazing doctor. Like, yeah, that's obviously why. And just hit him with the stethoscope. No, this is, I'm telling you, this is so much ammunition for me. I love this for me. What?
You.
I do. Listen, this is exactly what I'm talking about. Why can he just slap them?
It's a question. He's an amazing doctor.
It's because he ate the cure-all mushroom.
Okay.
His devil fruit is a mushroom, and he's the forest god. There's no other explanation, and I feel so vindicated. We're gonna celebrate once it's confirmed. We're gonna celebrate. And then someone says, "What? Don't you dare think that kind of praise makes me happy, 'cause it doesn't, you jerk." And then looks like I'm gonna say Broggy, just from the way the person's laughing, says, "Nah, that's gotta be it. You're amazing. Gababa." Hardin says, "Well, we've sorted the mess out around here. Wonder how the others are doing." And then where is this? Looks like one of the other villages. And it says, no sign of enemy activity in the artisan village. More fires have broken out, though. And then someone says, no foes in alcohol village either, just raging flames. And then it cuts out at the other village. And then we hear, seems like all that's left is to extinguish the fires. Keep your eyes peeled in case any of those demons are still alive out there.
Oh yeah, the coming up was another question I had.
Then we see Saw and Robin at the Owl Library. And she says, Saw. And Saw's like, what's going on here? What am I looking at? Saw says, there's definitely fire damage, but the shelves are empty. There should at least be fragments of books left. And Saw's like, Biblo the Owl ain't here either. And they're like, I don't want to be too optimistic, but... And Robin says, you think he might have moved the books? I'd be overjoyed if he did, but even if that were possible, where did he go?
Yeah, what do you think happened, and do you think he took the books?
Yeah, I mean, it seems like it. I mean, what's really interesting is whenever books come into this library, he can change their size. Mm-hmm. So if he can do that, then it would stand to reason that he could probably shrink them down so small that he could grab them. But also, how do we know that this owl is even just a regular owl?
Well, that was... Yeah, and is he...
Good?
Yes.
I mean, he's supposedly been there for so long. Yeah. So, like, that makes me think that he has to be. He's been on Elbaf forever. Did
somebody ask him to do this? I don't know. There's questions there. There's questions there, right? Yeah.
Imagine the bird got Domi reversied.
Yeah, who knows?
I mean, they're definitely good questions. And we don't know. This could be a giant, because, I mean, it was a big bird. Mm-hmm. So... this could just be its Zoan form, and it could be like a mythical Zoan, because there's like the owl in Avatar: The Last Airbender is Wang Shitong, and it's based on a myth, I think, in Japan, or maybe it's China, about a owl that guards knowledge. Yeah. And so if it had something like that it was able to like shrink things and stuff like that to be able to condense knowledge, it'd be really interesting to see if it was like a mythical Zoan that had that. Hi. Hi. Very interesting. Sanji said things got wrapped up pretty quickly once we went on the offensive, huh? Well, see, that just that statement itself, to me...
It lends to there being more.
Yes.
Yeah, I guess, but, okay, so I was almost like, third side was like, okay, that's too easy, what's left? Yeah. Or is it just like...
They're just that good?
Is it showing us how good they are and what we thought, because we're thinking this is going to be, when they finally get to Emu and they do all these things, that's going to be like the biggest
big conflict
deal, and it wasn't. Now, do I think Emu's done? No way. But
no.
But is there? What is this showing us?
Yeah, I mean, last chapter they were talking about like of course we're strong. We're like a Yonko crew. We're an Emperor crew, and that's what they should be. That's showing them that. That's why I think that they're going to get knocked down a peg. Because I think something's going to happen that's going to show them just how far away they are from... Yes, you're an Emperor crew, but you're the bottom of the Emperors.
You think so?
I do. Don't get me wrong. I think that they're great, but...
We've seen all those things where we think, like, they're going to wreck this person, and we see, like, how they show, like, how much more they have to go. When do we stop seeing that? When is the one that we're going to be like, okay, they're really that strong? I
think that's after this. I think that this is their power-up arc. Like, we're already getting hints of that, because look at what Frankie was able to do. He got that special cola, the super cola that Lilith made. Yeah. To me, Sanji still needs to unlock Conqueror's Haki. Okay. I need that for him.
We're not there yet.
I don't think we are. Especially because, yes, were they able to destroy Killingham? Yeah. Yes, they obliterated him to the point where they separated his head from his body and
Yeah.
basically treated him like Buggy.
Yeah.
But the problem is he's one, still alive, and two, they don't really have like a way to counteract like the regeneration
Sure.
aside from separating them. So
Sure.
like we don't know what's happening to Summers right now. He was stomped on by Loki, but he can
Okay.
still regenerate.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, there's definitely more. I don't think this is the end. Like, look, but I still think it's like, wow, they were able to do that.
yeah. I mean, they definitely were. And so I don't know. I think that this needs to be their power up arc.
Okay. So you, in a sense, you want them to get knocked down a peg.
I do. I think they need to be. I think that they need to realize where their shortcomings are.
Okay.
Because, like, again, no one in the crew besides for Sanji, Zoro, and Luffy use hockey.
Okay.
And, well, Usopp
So what do you
has
think needs to use
used...
hockey in order for them to be where they are?
Well, okay, that's not true. Jinbei knows hockey as well. So I think Brooke probably needs hockey and probably needs to awaken his fruit. Chopper needs to awaken his fruit.
Okay.
I think he could use base levels hockeys as well. And I think that Frankie is on the right track because I think that all his power-ups should be technology.
Yeah.
You know, and again, there's a value to Frankie learning that type of stuff through technology, like because there are ways that he can touch intangible people, like Logie is, because in Egghead we found out that there's like the light gloves where you're able to touch light with them.
Yeah.
That would be a perfect thing that Frankie could incorporate, so he could hit Kizaru or any of the other Logias. Like, I don't think all of them need hockey, but I think that they need better stuff. You know, I don't think that they've reached the full pinnacle. Because I guess I look at things like, if they went against Blackbeard's crew right now, who would win?
don't know.
To me, I don't think they win. I think Luffy would probably...
Based on what?
Based on what? Based on what we've seen from like
from
Blackbeard's... No, from Blackbeard's crew when they fought Garp.
Okay.
You know? And they have Aokiji. They have an admiral. Like...
Okay. Keep going.
I do think there's an argument there. But, anyway. Frankie says, well, it ain't like this was a full-on war against their whole organization, you know? Even if these guys are Knights of the Holy Land, there were only 3 of them. And he said, yeah, it's insane how thoroughly they managed to devastate somewhere as massive as Elbaf. And Killingham's like, what happened to the Great One? That's actually an interesting point. Because that's what I was thinking about while they were talking. I was like, imagine if Sommers like basically drew a summoning circle like they did with the other Gorosei, and they brought the rest of the Holy Knights here.
Yeah.
Like, and that's when we got Shamrock and the rest of the Holy Knights showing up, and they would just like go all out.
Yeah.
I think the Straw Hats would struggle because they don't have all the hockeys that it would need to 1v1 these guys.
Point made. Keep going.
I don't think that they're like untouchable, but I think that they're strong-ish. Okay. And then we see outskirts of West Village. Okay. And then, speak of the devil. We see Loki's footprint, and we see Sommer's head in half with his heart, and he's like, damn it, here we go. And then he like rolls, what does he roll his heart into his head? What the fuck is happening? And then he's like, ouch, ouch, ouch. Interesting. And then it says Luffy's group. And he's like, Loki, I'm hungry. And Loki's like, go back to the village then. It ain't like I carry food on me. What's with that weird look anyway? And he's like talking to Ragnar. He's like, Squirrel, I'm hungry. Squirrel just squeaks at him. But then it looks like Emu just kind of like is watching them and is like, well, fuck, I'm encased in ice. I might as well dip out. And he just poofs. Just gone. And says, the Holy Land of Marijois. Hold on a second. What is that?
I don't know.
Hold on. There's like a bunch of wreckage and shit that looks like it's charred, which actually tracks because when Emu showed up to Elbaf, he said the Holy Land is on fire. So I wonder if this was someone's attack, whether it's Blackbeard's, maybe even dragons' attack, and they finally put it to bed. Yeah. And this is like the charred remains of whatever town that was under. Because like there's a town right by the Holy Land. Interesting. And it says Pangea Castle.
We're almost done.
Don't worry.
Almost done.
We're right at the end. It says Pangea Castle Flower Room. And then it says ... And Emu says, Elders. And they reply, yes, great Emu. The Holy Land will be without move for a short while. And they're just like, what? Could Emu really be going there?
Where is he going?
To Elbaf.
Oh, that's what he's saying.
Yo, he saw the disrespect and was like, I'm about to go in person.
Okay, that was one of my big clarifying questions of like, what do they mean by that?
He's like, yo, I can't do remote work anymore. Yeah. I gotta go in office for this. Like, that's crazy.
Like, maybe I'll try some hybrid work for a while.
Yeah, hybrid work was okay. Like, I was kind of there-ish. Yo, that's, oh my God.
So that's how it ends. I mean, like...
That's crazy.
Is it break week?
No, it doesn't say.
Okay, so
break
if it doesn't
week
say, it's usually not break week. They'll say if it's a break week.
They'll say it's like break next week.
Okay.
Oh my God.
So crazy.
Yo, this is insane. This would be the first time if he goes there, if they go there in person, that's the first time Emu ever showed up somewhere in person.
Yeah.
Because God Valley, he used Saturn. Here he used Gunko. And the only other time he's ever been face to face with someone is Rocks when he showed up to the flower room.
Yeah.
And they didn't even like scrap. Oh my God. That is so amazing.
I thought, you know how I was saying I ranked this chapter higher than I think other people would?
Yeah.
One of the reasons is, and this is just my preference that I know isn't, it's like, there was some fighting in the beginning, and, well, a little bit, yeah. And then they just showed a little bit of, like, showed a lot of them, like, processing it, and then there was a lot of story. So,
yeah.
like, you know me, I like a good mix of those. When it's just a whole fighting chapter, I'm like, ugh.
And that's, honestly, One Piece is really good for not just having straight up fighting chapters a lot of the time.
Yeah, I'll say, they're not terrible at that.
Yeah. Oh my God.
But do you have, like, a ranking?
Hold on. I need to go back through and process it just for like a second.
She liked it. She's saying, be quiet, Mom.
Let me get this little girl.
That's her thoughts on the chapter, everyone.
Okay. And that's... Okay, and then what? Oh. Good thoughts.
She can't believe Emu.
I know. Emu's showing up. Emu's gonna show out.
Okay. You had your turn to talk, ma'am.
Yeah.
She's actually pretty upset about this chapter. Yeah, is what we're learning.
She got a lot to say about it. Okay, so this beginning part where Luffy brought Usopp and Brook and was kind of like, "Yo, you guys might want to step back." Love that. That was really cool. And the fact that he called Loki a wild card was really dope.
Like, look in the mirror.
Yeah, the pot is calling the kettle black. Do you want? I know you don't. You're not too big a fan of this one.
Yeah, she's not.
Hey.
Hey.
Oh.
She's wanting to hold my finger.
I thought maybe you might like this one because it's like more textured now that you're teething.
Yeah, I don't know.
So that was cool. I just love the dynamic between Luffy and Loki. It's really cool. To me, this is how, and I'm probably gonna catch flack for this. This is how I'd imagine it would have been like if, like, Roger and Whitebeard would have teamed up. Like, they would have just been, like, kind of, like, on the same page, but, like, still kind of out doing their own thing.
Okay.
You know? I feel like that's, you know, a really cool thing. It's either that or, like, this is almost to me if, like, Kaido was a good person. Like, that's how I feel about Loki, is, like, he would be Kaido if he was a good person. And then just, like, the fact that, like, Loki realizes, like, yo, I can't do this because you're too damn small, because he's just gigantic. And then Emu, like, coming out of Gunko was very interesting to me, because they did not fight very long with him inhabiting her body. So, that's pretty interesting. This whole Domi Reversi situation, I'm almost wondering if the original Emu tried this with the original, like, Needhog and Nika, and it didn't work on them then, and it doesn't work on them now. Because he basically said, like, yo, in exchange for this blessing, you shall loathe each other. Like, you two are supposed to hate each other. And they look at each other for a second, and they're like, what the fuck is that? Like, stop that. Stop the madness. And then it seems like this was not, Emu was basically like, it didn't work on you guys either. Well, fuck. And then just, like, the destroying of Emu, and then I also love the cute little fucking squirrel face on the side of the hammer. That's a really cool touch. I thought that was cool. And him just freezing Emu. Just like, yo, I need a break. Basically, like, I'm going to put this bitch on ice. Super dope. All of the Straw Hats basically just handling this whole situation by using, like, Fishman Karate, Zeus, and Lilith being a part of this. It makes me, it makes me wonder what Lilith is going to do after this. Like, she wanted to stay on Elbaf. So, but if Emu's coming to Elbaf, there's a part of me that thinks that the foreshadowing that happened with Gabon is real. Because when Gabon met Luffy, he tested his powers, and then he said, hey, if Elbaf still exists after what's coming, come find me. And so this makes me think that that was foreshadowing to Emu's coming here, and Elbaf is going to cease to exist. Similar to how Emu got rid of Leloucia. And, well, also...
Yikes.
God Valley, basically. So, which is why I think that the Straw Hats will need to get stronger. Okay. I think they're going to see that Emu's roof is too high for them to be able to handle. Which is why people are saying, like, oh, Loki can't join the crew. It's going to be too overpowered. And I'm going to be like, is it? Is it though?
I just don't know where he's gonna fit.
I don't care if he flies above it. Or if the tree gets chopped down from Elbaf and Frankie uses the wood to make the Sunny into Pluton. But no, I love that. And then this will always make me happy. Chopper slapping the shit out of these demons and proving me right is always gonna make me happy.
Like, you're just a great doctor.
Yeah, you're just a great doctor. Like, yeah. Or he's got a really great devil fruit. That's another thing that people have been saying. That if Luffy has 2 god fruits on his team, I'm like, Luffy's probably gonna need 3. There's a reason Emu was able to hold control for the past 1,000 years.
Yeah.
But basically everything being like, yeah, there's fire everywhere. The books disappearing is interesting. And it makes me wonder what happened to Biblo.
Yeah.
Which is funny because his name is basically like Biblioteca. Bibliography.
He's got the books.
Yeah. So, I feel like and who knows, maybe the what's his name? The owl has read everything in the library. That's it. And the fact that he might have read the mural, he may know or think that, all this stuff is coming to fruition.
Yeah.
So he might have just been like, deuces.
See ya.
Killingham being like, oh my god, what happened to the Great One? But also, this feels like foreshadowing of like, things got wrapped up pretty quickly. Yeah. And the fact that...
that was easier than expected.
Yeah, exactly. Like, that seems like that's exactly what happens when things get hard. And then on top of that, the fact that Frankie was like, it ain't like it was a full-blown war, and it's like against their whole organization. I'm like, well, that just means that sounds to me like Emu's coming and maybe bringing all the Holy Knights.
Yeah, something's happening.
Because the Holy Knights are like Emu's personal guard, and so if Emu's going somewhere, I'd imagine he's taking his cronies.
His cronies.
Well, and they can probably just transport there, because when Shamrock and Gunko showed up, they showed up under the pentagram thing, the summoning circle that
for sure.
Shamrock, or that Harold made.
Yeah.
So, and the fact that this dude's alive means he can probably summon them.
Yeah.
And also, what is Oda doing here with the heart being in his brain? And why does it look so weird?
I don't know.
But yeah, and then this whole scene, the fact that he's telling the elders like, "Hey, yo, I'm gonna step out."
Look at this panel; it's huge. Like,
yeah,
it's supposed to be a shocker.
Yeah, well, even the elders are like, "What?" Like the fucking exclamation points, question marks, like
you don't go places.
Yeah, this is crazy. I mean, to me, this chapter had everything I could have asked for in a chapter. It had an insane cliffhanger, it had like progression of the story, and kind of what I was saying, like all the Holy Knights are still alive, like none of them were actually beat, and they can reform. So like if Emu shows up, it's a possibility that Emu just being around is going to give them like a boost to their immortality, like being closer to the source of their immortality.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, they had some
lore drops and some questions, like the books and different things.
Some different stuff like that, and like this, like I said, Chopper just doing this nonchalantly, which makes me think like, is Chopper gonna be able to tussle with Emu? Can Chopper slap the fucking Covenant off of a Holy Knight?
People thought he was just, a doctor there for emergency food. But he might be a key here.
He might be. He might be the key to fighting Emu.
And how rude of them to call him emergency food.
Especially when Luffy could use emergency food right now.
Yeah. No.
But yeah, no, it literally had just about everything. Like, it progressed the plot, had cool fight scenes. It had this revelation that, like, Emu's basically like, oh, as expected, it didn't work on these two. Like, these two are truly, and then it's like,
Right.
you know, who knows what the next word was going to be there. But, I mean, you can guess. And just, like, overall, it had a really great thing. The only thing that sucks is now that Brooke is down and out, we're not getting any information on Gunko being part of Princess Shuri or whatever. But now that Emu's out of the ice, they can technically thaw the ice and find out more information until Emu shows up.
Emu, his shape sometimes just kind of gives off corn dog.
Yeah, no, it does. Yeah. Corn dog with a crown.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So what's your score?
This is like a 9.5 to me. This is like a 9.5.
I said 9.5,
sure.
Maybe 9.8.
Yeah, like this could be. It depends.
It can't be a 10.
It can't be a 10.
No.
I think a 10 is when Emu's reveal will happen. Like when we actually see them not silhouetted, which may actually be closer than we would have
Without
thought.
the big cliffhanger, it still would have been a good chapter, but that really gave it a point or two, I feel like.
Yeah. And like the fact that Emu's basically like, yo, I'm stepping out, you know, we're gonna ride up in my fucking Lambo. Just really awesome stuff. This just makes me so hyped because I you know, with the trailer coming out for season 2 of One Piece, you know, and us finally getting like a look at Loki animated and like the way the animation looks now just makes me so excited for this. And this isn't even gonna be the next batch of episodes.
No.
We're like probably only gonna get to right before Loki's backstory,
which takes a while.
And yeah, so who knows? I don't know. I'm just so excited to see this animated and to see what they do here. What about you? Super excited, right? She's like, I'm only on Alabasta. We're not even in Skypiea yet.
I'm literally 5 months old. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Tell them how you feel. Tell the people.
Tell the people. Tell the people your feelings. Say
you
it
have
in
a
the
platform. Go for it.
Yeah. But yeah, overall, I thought it was a really great chapter. I'm super excited. I'm super excited for the next chapter. And we're already into 1179.
When does the chapter get released in Japan? Like, when do I start seeing spoilers?
You should probably start seeing spoilers by, like, next Tuesday, Monday, Tuesday. Are you going to read spoilers?
Oh, yeah, you know me. I love a good spoiler. He's the opposite.
I am. I don't want to. Even the fan translations, like, I'll go back and I'm going to read the official translation when it drops tomorrow. So, just to make sure all the wording is correct and everything. So, but yeah. This is great. I love it. It's fantastic. It's a great episode. Thanks for being a part of it.
Of course.
Thank you for being a part of it. Not like you had a choice. But yeah, so that was my thoughts on it. Please let me know your thoughts in the comments. I'll respond whenever I can. I love talking One Piece, obviously. Sometimes I like to have a little co-host. And because I've introduced One Piece to all my friends and family.
I didn't know what One Piece was before I met them.
Yeah. So, of course, if you got married to me, you had to know.
Yeah.
You had to know. But yeah, I always say this every stream, but One Piece is better as a conversation. And I love having that conversation with you and with anybody who will have it with me, believe it or not. So, thank you guys as always, and I will see you next week. And who knows, maybe I'll have these two with me again. So, all right, I'll see you guys next time. Jana.